Okay. So this is a session on IELTS writing, but we are going to focus on academic task 1. Okay. Which is different for
Okay.
general and academic. So academic guys have got the graph writing. All right. And task 2 is essay, which we have done before. So task 1, if you understand, there's a difference between task 1 and task 2. So the name of the task, which I mentioned just now, is graph writing. So there's a graph which is given in the form of line graph, bar graph, table. Okay. Then there would be also some kind of information, layout. Okay. And they are going to give you before and after, how it was in 1990 and how it is in 2010. Okay. So there's, but generally it is called as graph writing. So most of the time we don't have to really think much. It's already given there. We just have to put it in words. All right. That's the beauty of graph writing. All right. So you can score more. In 20 minutes, you have to generate 150 plus words. There's less burden on you as compared to the task 2. All right. And the less time as well as the less words. Weightage accordingly is also slightly less. So consider this as 40% weightage and that is 60%. So you have to focus more on fancy words and new words, different ways of showcasing. Okay. In the task 2. Okay. Here you should write the typical structures that are there for task 1 and you get the band 7 easily. For band 7.58, you may have to write something different out of the box. But to get that band 7, write something which is like pre-structured. So difficulty level is easier. I won't say easy. It has got its own challenges, but it is easier than task 2, which is essay writing. All right. So we have to practice this. We have to work on this, and accordingly, we will understand where are the loopholes for every candidate. So there are 2 moderators who are going to check if it's a paper based, if it's a computer based. Directly, you are going to get the score, and you get a score from 0 to 9 in this individually, and then in India, generally people do not get 8 and 9. So don't expect yourself getting immediately in 10 days or 15 days of practice unless you have last 20, 25 years of good language preparation. All right. So the realistic expectation would be band 7 and maybe 7.5 in the 10, 15 days or month's time. Okay. Again, I'm saying unless your language is very strong, if you're into certain profiles, the language comes naturally. Average will keep it as band as an expert. Unlike the reading and listening, where people get 9 on 9. Okay, with a certain amount of practice in a month's time also. Okay. Now, let's understand what to do in this. So if you want to increase your score, basically you have to mention all the major features. Okay. People look at the graph and see, oh, there are 20 countries. Should I write about all the 20 countries at 20 sentences? No. You need to group them as per the importance. You need to find out which is the highest production, which country has the lowest production. These are the major observations, right? Then to describe it accurately. Most of the time, people look from 0 to 100. If there's a range, they put it as 100%. But the unit is sometimes millions, rupees, dollars, something else. But then their mind thinks, oh, it is mostly percentage. That's the fixed idea, fixed notion which people have. So please mention the statistics. That means the numbers, okay, accurately. Now there are certain situations where the numbers are not defined as points. Okay, it is in between 50 and 60. Now we have this liberty to choose any number, but don't do that. Don't say it is 53% or 53 million. You can say slightly above 50 if it is closer to 50. Okay. So that's the reason I'm saying describe.
I didn't get what 50%.
Okay, I'm saying that if there's this mark, okay, so here is 50 at the lower base, okay, and here is 60, all right, and your line graph is in between. The point is here in between. Somewhere it is rising and then going down and rising and something like that. So this point here, okay, this is between 50 and 60, okay. If this point is here somewhere, so it is close to 55. Don't say 55. Okay, this one is close to 50, slightly above 50. Don't say 52. Okay, if there's another graph which reaches here and then goes down or stable, we can say it is close to 60, approximately 60, nearby 60, slightly less than 60. All right, do not confidently write it is 60. Correct? So when
Okay.
these statistics
Ah,
are not sharp on the number anyways, they're slightly lower or above it, please ensure that you observe that. Okay? Then
okay.
please paraphrase the information in the question. That means what? Try not to write the same words from the question itself. Try to find different words for countries, okay, government,
Ah,
revenue,
okay.
organization.
Ah,
Okay, something very can change. 12 months can be written as 1 year. Okay, 6 years, 6 months data is given. We
ah,
can say not biannually. We can say semi-annually. All right. So you can use quarterly for three
okay.
months. Okay. So you need to understand
Okay.
and paraphrase accordingly. All right. Then avoid repeating
Okay.
the same words, which I meant like paraphrase. And but not just in the question, but also when you write your own sentences, do not write the same thing.
Ah,
Like from the graph, we can see that, and then you write one sentence. Again, from the graph, we can see that, we can see that, we can see that.
okay.
Many times people use the same phrase for every new sentence. All right. So avoid
Ah,
repeating the
ah,
same sentences. All right. Try to
okay.
vary the
Ah,
sentence structures. Alag sentences used for that. Do not write the first
ah,
advantages or Brazil is the topmost country, Germany is the second most country, and something is the third most, not third most, third country. All right. So do not write in the same
ah,
way. Try to vary it. And that's what we are going to learn how to have this different sentence structure. And finally, give an
okay.
overview of the most important trend. Okay, which also
As
is
in
close to
conclusion.
this.
Ah,
Huh, all major features, which means giving an overview. That means from the graph, we can understand that, okay, population was initially too high and then it has gradually decreased. Okay. Now it really doesn't matter which year,
yeah.
what, and all. So this is an overview. All right. Or else we can say that the
Okay.
exports have been affected badly in so and so countries as compared to so and so countries.
Ah,
So you are just grouping them.
okay.
So you are differentiating. That's an overview. Okay? We are going to understand these
Okay.
structures by observing. So we need to understand we cannot write everything in the given time as well as in the given structure. So we need to choose certain points. Now there are two formats. Broadly, color-wise, you can see there is a blue color and orange color. Okay, format one, either or. You have a choice. Format one is like the essay structure we have divided into 4 paragraphs with an introduction and a conclusion. Oh, sorry, this is the one without the conclusion. This is an overview first. Okay, so here we have overview, the
Okay.
general features, what we just discussed. All right, you give here the overview and you describe about the same two interesting points in two different paragraphs. Increased and then it has decreased. So tell me how it has increased, in which year, which countries, then how it has decreased.
Okay.
Whatever your
Ah,
structure, it has to be explained in detail in this. All right. There should be a connection between
okay.
the overview and these paragraphs. All right. Don't think I'll write something here and then again I'll read and understand a structure in a different way. No, try to tell us the same main features. So you have to understand two or three broader structures of it and accordingly explain 2 plus 1 or 1 plus 1. Okay, don't stretch it to too many paragraphs. We don't want multiple paragraphs.
Okay.
So
Ah,
in this
okay.
case, we need to understand introduction will be again of 2 sentences. What is this paragraph or whatever the question is, whatever this graph about, and following graph will give you the details of it. Okay, so you'll cover here around
Okay. Okay.
words, 25 to 30 odd words. Again, in an overview, you'll cover around 30 to 40 words, not much. Okay, one or two
Ah,
sentences. This is where you have to
yes.
actually work on the remaining one. Okay, remaining
Okay.
ideas is sandwiched here. So if you write more in the introduction, like maybe 40 words sometimes, then you can really cut down on these. But otherwise, at least 40, 50 words you have to write. Make it a 100 word structure. Okay, so that you can
Ah,
afford to write only 30 words here. All right, if you write very long overview, it's not called as an overview. Okay, so it's just the
okay.
skeleton that you have to mention here. All the details will come here. Okay, this is
Okay.
one way of doing
Mm,
it. Prefer telling them that you follow the essay like structure, where there's an introduction here, conclusion at the end.
okay.
Okay, and
Ah,
two body paragraphs like
yes.
a sandwich. All right. Otherwise, what happens?
All right.
People mix
Yes.
up things. Okay, this stop writing conclusion for the task two also at times. Okay. So if you don't
Mm,
have confusion in any of the formats, you're free to choose a format. but please do not mix the format. Don't write an overview here and a conclusion here. Okay?
Okay.
Don't write both the things. Okay, what we write in conclusion, we wrap up here is the same thing we write in overview, that this is what I'm going to tell you in detail. That's an overview. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
So we'll observe one or two features and we are going to describe that feature. Okay? So the template means here people who are struggling with the language. Okay, I've given few words which should be part of the paragraph. Okay, introduction, body paragraph 1, 2, and conclusion. So basically, your computer is going to
Okay.
scan for words and ideas. Okay, so if you write it in a similar format,
Okay.
you will get decent score. If you write anything better than this, you're welcome to write. Okay, you can always submit with better ideas. But then when people think, what should I
Yeah.
write? How should I start? So this is where you have to start. This is how you have to start. First, tell us. So the purpose of the first sentence is tell us what is the image all about. Okay, so what is the purpose?
So,
Is the image all about?
okay.
Okay, that means you are going to look at the title and you're going to say, okay, so the given image is a line graph of the population of 5 countries from 1990 to 2010. Got it? That's it. So the purpose of the first sentence is to introduce what is this concept of the topic, or concept of, in the sense, the, okay, I think one is entering now. Okay, whatever the theme is. Okay, what are the graph is. All right. Monica is here, I guess.
Okay.
And the second sentence is what I'm going to tell you next. So I'm going to summarize. Basically, second sentence should tell us what is given in the below paragraph.
Okay.
Okay. नीचे क्या दिया है? And then this is a standard question or statement. Since the question is standard, our statement is also standard. So this is more of a standardized structure. We'll write in any graph the same thing. Given below is a summary highlighting main features of what are the title is, population, pollution, country. Okay, along with a relevant comparison. Okay, so this is something which is a brainless thing to do. Okay, so this is about the introduction which I was talking about, Monica. Please focus. We hardly have like 20 more minutes to go. So please focus on understanding and ask as many questions as possible. Do not be a passive listener. Okay. Introduction, 30-40 words are taken care of. So basic thought should be, what is this image all about? Ye image mein kya hai? And the second is, what is it that I'm going to tell you in the coming paragraph, below paragraph. Okay. Now always remember, the image is on a separate page or you're typing on a separate screen. So do not write the image below. All right. Only summary is below. Image is on a separate screen altogether. All right. So this is what I'm going to do here. And then I'm going to write in the body paragraph. Now this is where your creativity lies. Okay. Body paragraph 1 and 2 together. You can exchange the sentences. They are not compulsory for body paragraph 1 or 2. But general structure is like you have to take the focus of the reader to the graph. Okay. And tell them, see, from the graph, that immediately the person will look at the graph. Okay. It is clear that it's a passive way of saying. Don't say necessarily, I can see that, we can see that. Right? Passive voice as much as possible. Okay? Passive voice matlab, ऐसा दिखता है कि, मुझे दिखता है कि नहीं, not required. Alright? But then how many times we'll write it is crystal clear that, it is observed that. So later on you can write, we can see that. But don't start necessarily with, I can see that, we can see that. Alright? So instead of see, you can also see, we can also say, we can observe that. All right. They are all interchangeable words. All right. It is observed that. ऐसे समझ में आता है. Okay. It can be assumed that. All right. If there is an assumption. Start comparing. Please do not write Brazil has a population of 52 million. Germany has a population of 25 million. Start comparing 52 or 25 का क्या connection है? It's almost half. Right? In terms of ranking, if this is the topmost one, yes, second hai, but it is half. All right. And there are other countries which are almost in the same range of Germany. Right. So although it is third, it still has a population of 24. It's competing with Germany. So compare. Okay. Compare ka matlab hota hai, you have to write the phrases like more than, less than, double, triple. You know, you understand these words? and phrases. What is comparison? More than, less than, equal
Less
to,
than.
if they are equal. Okay. You can also say like, just like this company or country or whatever place, just like in 1990. Sorry. Okay. You can also say unlike bat, you know, other birds are doing something, something. They are nocturnal animals or birds, right? Like, unlike. Similarly, usi ke jaisa, all these words are very important when you do comparison or when you write the comparative statement. Okay. So second paragraph will also be the same thing. We are going to say is just that the start of the paragraph at times can be not necessarily again. On the other hand, is like when you're comparing something else, like 1990 data and 2010 data. So if you're writing the story of 1990 here, you'll have to write the story of 2010 here. So that time you'll say, दूसरी तरफ ये दिखाई देता है. You know, on the other hand, we can also see also is an additional phrase, which means this is something which we have seen in the para.
So,
हाँ, but
but
वहां पर ऐसा भी,
we are comparing, but we are already comparing in first para, right?
हाँ, we are comparing the data from 1990. Supposingly there is a pie chart. Okay, in
हाँ,
1990,
हाँ,
and there are some distribution. Okay, कि सबसे सबसे
हाँ.
highest कौन सा है? There are some lines like this. So we are comparing within 1990 here. Okay, that this is the highest, this is the second
हाँ.
one, something, something. Are they in the same range? Or this is negligible. That we have done comparison within the same. Now, on the other hand, we can also see that, and there's another same structure. Okay, another pie chart. Okay, but of 2010.
Okay.
Then you can compare both ways. You can compare within. You can also see that the same graph which was there has increased now. Okay, the same price has increased
Okay.
now. So you can compare like this. So it is still the highest, but it has increased as compared to 1990. And the second one has decreased. Okay, maybe it is here. Third gap which was there is now also has increased. And maybe fourth and fifth are, almost negligible. ऐसा कुछ है. ये वाला तो बहुत कम हुआ है. ये उतना ही है. So you not only are comparing within this, but you are comparing also with this. Okay, so the comparison would be one would be like this, that this is the first one followed by this, then probably these two, and then this, and then negligible. On the other hand, in 2010, the highest say followed by this, but at the same time, we can compare highest, it has increased as compared to 1990. So the comparative statement can be as compared to 10, 20 years back, what has happened, as well as current situation, how it is placed. Okay, whether it is higher, less, whatever it is. Then when you move from one sentence to the other sentence, you should try and think, how should I connect those two sentences? पहले वाला thought और ये वाला thought का कुछ connection है? Is it the additional information, or I'm giving some other country's information? Okay, or I'm giving something related to. So you can say in 1990, that could be also a start. Or additionally, that means if it is a connected thought. Okay, it can also be deciphered that ऐसा deciphering this is you can understand another word for that. Okay, so you can find interesting words when you're reading and note them. That's the maximum amount of creativity that you can show here. Nothing else, nothing major, because we are going to use more of these structures, more than, less than, equal to, like, unlike, approximation words, rather than anything else. Okay, and time to wind up. Simple expectation of the robot is that you start with one of these words, if not all. Please do not misunderstand that this is like to sum up in conclusion. Okay, write only one, any one. All right. So overall, we can see that. We can see that what, and then you will not write anything new. It's like the trailer of a movie. Whatever the movie has, you're going to say the same thing in short, in brief. We can say it overall, the graph, the given graph highlighted the important features about the population over the 20 years in 5 different countries. But, okay, that's one-liner conclusion. Not much is expected from the conclusion. You can make it a little more fancy if you have got time and words in your kitty. 180 words, more than enough. Do not stretch it to 200, 220. The more you write, the more mistakes you are offering. All right? So please do not offer more, so that you save time and you save some time for revision rather than writing too much. It shouldn't happen that you write and the last word you put the full stop and submit. You should take some time to revise. Our thoughts keep changing every
Okay.
moment. This is
Huh.
a structure. I'm going to share the sheet with you all, but just to show you right now, see, this is how you paraphrase. Can you read this, Rupa?
The line graph below shows the percentage of tourists of England who visited four different attract- attractions
Sure.
in
Brighton.
sorry, Brighton.
Hmm. Hmm.
Summarize the information by
Hmm.
selecting and reporting the main
Hmm.
features and make comparisons where
Hmm.
relevant.
Yeah, the given image is a line graph
Hmm.
which gives information about the distribution of people who travel to England to visit
Hmm.
four famous places in Brighton
Hmm.
from 1980 to 2010. Given
Hmm.
below is summary of the information by
Hmm.
highlighting the main points along with relevant comparisons.
Hmm. So what we did is we made an effort to paraphrase the two structures. There are two structures broadly. Okay, this is the first one, which is a question which will keep changing, and this is a sentence which is common for every question, task one question. Okay, so this one we'll have to decide on the spot, but mostly it will be line graph, bar graph,
Okay.
so you know what has to be done. Okay, so you will have the start as a very common standard start. The given image is a dash which
Okay.
gives table. You can make little more creative, shows, depicts, decodes, okay, decipher, illustrate, explain, any word you can use here. And then this is the title. All
Okay.
right. And the second statement, since they have the standard statement, we'll also use a standard statement. Given below is a summary of something. Now you decide error-free sentence. There shouldn't be any error in the second sentence. Okay? The point is
Okay.
नीचे कौन से points दिए गए हैं. That's what you have to think. Given below is what? Okay, so you have to tell the reader this is a very good connector given below. All right, and accordingly use this sentence. Cliched sentence, do not take the same cliched sentences which everybody writes. If you are writing it from a different source, please ensure it's different. This is how you paraphrase.
Okay.
Now, what is there next in this is these are the structures which are given for the people who do not know good English or they want to know what are the different words for increase, double, triple, boom, surge, and all. Decrease, limit, plunge, die. All these things means come home, reduce. Something which is standard, which do not change. Some position, some point, 1979. So it stood at, leveled at. Plateau means 3-4 years same. Could change नहीं हुआ है. And if there's a constant change, there's nothing to talk of increase or decrease. There is fluctuated. Okay. So this is our grammar part which you need to focus on. If you have any concerns in the grammar, please ask me. This is again the subject, verb, and adverb. Most of the time, people do not write the adverb. Have a problem here. They just write this increase, this decrease. But how? Slightly. And how much? In quantity, if it is there, how much? Okay. So slightly, sharply, drastically, dramatically, significantly, eventually. You can write all these really words. You can find that and you can use as per the quantity. Okay. If it has declined too much, then accordingly use those words. I've given some examples and a table, and this is where your focus should be. That if it's like a line graph, please use these words: trend, fluctuations, it grows gradually, increase, remarkable. I'm not saying these three words specifically, but I'm just saying that use a combination of increasing and decreasing in a certain pattern. With the bar graph, what is the maximum point, minimum point, highest point, lowest point, compares, ratio, okay? Pie chart, ratio again, followed by share. And what is the share of something, percentage of something, distribution of something. Process diagram, process is like there are steps, 5 steps, 6 steps. तो पहले क्या हुआ, बाद में क्या होता है, फिर क्या होता है, फिर क्या होता है, फिर क्या होता है. So many times, people think then, 3-4 times. Why do we write then 100 times when you have these words after, post, okay? Also, next stage, next levels, next step. Please understand there are different words for this. Why don't we write different words in a different sentence? So your entire focus should be on how to write it differently, okay? Not just showcase the data, but
Okay.
how to write it differently. Okay, so what is next? This is a structure wherein there are graphs given and I've given some sample answers. Okay? So before you write your own structure, which is there, I've given 10 such samples of different types with the answers. Now, I don't say that these are the only answers or structures, but there are people who would want to know how to write on this structure. And you might be having your own ideas to write. So you can cross-check that, did I find out any major point or my points are not included in this? So more or less, the point would remain or should remain same. All right. Also, there would be confusion on such things where, can I write on all the years? I think I'll write them 220 words. All right. Then how do I segregate the data? Which is the highest, which is the lowest? How do I do that? All these samples are given. And then the practice one is given. Now, this practice one doesn't have any statistics. Can you see that? There's no year, there's no number. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to probably have 2, 3 sentences on this, then 2, 3 sentences on this, and maybe 4, 5 sentences on this. That's how you're going to decide your 10 sentences, okay, of 10 words. 100 words, this is how you're going to manage. Plan. Always plan. Do not think, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything. You'll end up writing only 60 words then. Tell your mind, how can I say the same thing in 20 words rather than in 5 words? There's a pot on the stone and grass. These are just hardly 5 words or 6 words. And how can I make it interesting by saying that at the start of the first image, given image as image A, okay, we can see there's a simple cooking process where the pot, mostly the clay pot or a metal pot, I don't know the material, right? I'm just guessing. Clay pot or a metal pot is placed on the stones, and maybe there's a dry grass. Now, this is my general knowledge that it cannot be green grass, okay? There could be some burning materials, okay, to heat it up. All right, so it was balanced on these stones. All right, it was a very simple method which was used in the olden or old or ancient era years. All right, that's how I'm making those 6, 7 words as maybe 15, 20 words, right?
Right.
After a few years, now don't say in stage B, you can say add on few words. After a few years, the same cooking process develops a little more, where now, okay, to balance the pot well, there was a clay shield. Probably not just for balancing, but also to help the heat or the whatever burning material it is to be together at one place. Okay, so that the heat passes on to the pot very well, and it is not impacted by the external air. You also know this by logic, right? We can use some logic here and write little more than what you can see by few assumptions. And then this is little more advanced or quite advanced as compared to A and B, and wherein now there is this base where the stones and the grass and now whatever hay is out or straws are out, where there's this place where it's a metal base where the ash and the ash can be pulled out when air can go out. Okay. So I was referring to this. So be a little more creative in observing and decide that how can I make a sentence, decide that sentence and write. Okay, decide and write. And unless you have to divide this into 2 stages. So you know that there's a lot of information in the last one. So you can club stage A and B in the paragraph 1 after the introduction. And this could be paragraph 2. Okay, the second part, C1. And little more details in that. You can actually share this once you write. Night itself, do not expect yourself to be writing only 1 per day. I have 8 more to be done, and we are 6 here. So 14 is maximum that you can cover by 5 days. All right? Existing flow plan. See this before and after. First, understand and write down your points. It's important to write down, note down separately, just like the way we do it in essay.
Okay.
That today, this is something. First one I'm going to write about the doors. Just focus, and then you can make the sentence later on. The second thing I'm going to talk about, let's say, hall and the living room. And then think, how can I connect this rather than writing this as 2 disjoint sets? How can I connect from door to how the impact of changes in the door has impacted the living room? Okay. Then I'm going to go to the kitchen. All right. And then I'm going to talk about, I don't know, maybe I'm lacking points. So what I'm going to do is stairs have been also changed. So I'll put stairs plus doors here. Okay. And then I will push this hall and living room maybe as a third point. And from there, I'll move to kitchen. Do you understand? This is how you realize the pain point at the beginning itself, that I need to focus on these 4 points at a time. And when I'm talking of stairs, then there are other things which come to your mind. Then you can talk of how hall, so maybe you can shift all here. Okay, then you can talk about the door, and then think, oh, everything is like connected, then you can shift this. Okay, and I can make only kitchen. That is also another way of writing. Okay, you can do that. Mhm. So you need to understand how do I write it, and accordingly plan and then start writing. Do not write stairs here also, kitchen here, as well as here, doors here, here. There should be flow, as and when you move in somebody's house, first you start from the door, right? So this door, whatever the entry point is. So observe from there, what was the beginning? There was stairs and a hall, and there was a living room on this, and there was this wall here. So they have demolished this wall. Okay, and then what has happened? This has made the living room bigger. Somebody can start with the living room also. Living room, sorry. Then there was this hallway which was there, which is now, it doesn't exist because the stairs have been shifted behind. Okay, instead of doors, we have stairs there. Then you come ahead and then say the doors have been shifted, so the entry point to the kitchen is next to the main entry of the house. All right, and then you showcase how there's a double door now instead of a single door entry to the kitchen, and then you enter the kitchen. That's also fine. All right, there are different ways of writing the same thing, but you need to decide which way you have titled. So there's practice 3. This is quite interconnected piece. So you need to understand where it starts. It starts actually nowhere. All right, you can start from here and you go here, 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 here. But on the way, you realize that from Metamorphica, it goes here as well as this end. It comes from here, it goes here, it comes here. This is a mini cycle which you can present. This is another cycle. So these are little complex sentences which you can form here. All right. So this is where your understanding of the graph or the image is important. All right. These are the bar. Every time I want you to look at it and decide your structures, and this is where the task is up. 6. Okay. Decide the points, write it, and then share with me. Okay. If you think you have concerns, I don't understand this graph, please ask. Please ping me immediately, stating that I don't understand this. And then what you don't understand, you tell me that. Which part you don't understand, you tell me that. I'll explain you that. Then 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can finish all 6 tonight, by tonight, I don't mind. If you can finish 3, I don't mind. But don't send me all 3 together. Write one. I'll give you the improvement areas. Then you write second one. Then you write third one. So on. Okay. But if you can finish all, I don't mind because there are 8 more and I can share those. All right.